Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1 season number 13, round number 7, which takes us to the Canadian Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the box today is Steph Seymour. Steph, how are you tonight?
Hello, Kieran McGinley. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a pleasure as always to be here, especially for TTL F1, and especially to be around Canada, one of my favourite tracks of mine.
Yeah, one of my favourite tracks too. And it wasn't. It was about 2 hours before the stream started. You were like, Kieran, I'm going to join you. Is that all right? Yeah, sure. Why not? The more the merrier.
Well, I was like, I've been busy being myself, in real life, sort out everything bits and pieces, especially with like moving house. I just thought, I got free space, and I thought, okay, I might ask you to join you in your box, keeping you company. And here I am.
Here you are. Great to have you here.
Oh, it
And
is, indeed, it is. As you can tell, yeah, it's probably a little disturbance from the background on my end. I'm trying to apologise to everyone who's watching. As you can tell, it can be a bit of a noisy household, but yeah, it
I
is
thought we
absolutely pleasure
changed
to
the
be here.
lock on the commentary box door. Were you not supposed to do that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought it was locked, but it appears to be somehow been unopened. But I will reinforce the lock to make sure.
Whew, we're in for a good one already.
Oh
More
yes.
drivers than on Tuesday night, which is always good to see. And yeah, so the Canadian Grand Prix then on a man-made island, especially for I believe it was the World's Fair in 1967, and when all that passed through and everything was all done and dusted, the Canadians thought, what else can we use this island for? Oh, I know, a racetrack. That's exactly what they did. Built on the man-made island and named after the legendary Gilles Villeneuve, who took his maiden win at the Canadian Grand Prix, so aptly named at this track in Montreal. We've also been to most sports for the Canadian Grand Prix, but this circuit at Montreal has basically become the home of the Canadian Grand Prix. It's one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. It is narrow, twisty and tight, but it also has long open straights, especially all the way down to the final chicane. And of course you've got the legendary and infamous Wall of Champions, aptly named after the 1999 race where Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve and Damon Hill all hit the wall during the 1999 Grand Prix, and so it was named. And many drivers have been claimed by the Wall of Champions, including one four-time champion, Sebastian Vettel.
Oh, indeed, like the old World of Champions, the curse for all the world champions beyond, and to to avoid hitting the wall. But it can be just any champion in it. It can also be a non-champion as well. A competitive racer that can also hit the wall as well. As mistakes can happen here in Canada, and the mistakes happen here is like Monaco, but you got a little bit of a leeway because obviously the track's a bit more wider. But the walls are still there to grab you at any point, especially on like the turns of like turn 4 along the exit of I believe turn 6, 7. And also generally around the track, you can, it's literally like there to hit you if you make a mistake. But quick little trivia though before we got to get going though. Did you know that the main straight, or the main back straight in particular, where the first DRS zone used to be a chicane between around the early period of when the track was built?
Well, there you go. Steph's. I was going to think of something alliteration there, but nothing came to mind. So, no, I got
think I
nothing.
shocked you on that one.
Yeah,
I
I
shocked you
got
on that
nothing.
one. But
But
yeah, no, between like around like the 80s, used to be the chicane since the days when the track was built, and obviously between like the late 80s, 90s, it then got reconfigured into a straight to make more straight line speed and make it a quick round track.
absolutely, and obviously, like I keep saying, it's one of my favourite circuits. And yeah, we've got 14 corners here, which takes us 4.361 kilometres around the entirely man-made island. 35 laps here we've got, and we're covering a race distance of around about 152.5 kilometres. Race lap record I should say, is a 1:13.6 set by Rubens Barrichello back in 2004, but no doubt tonight, Steph, we should be beating that lap time.
Oh, indeed, Kieran, indeed. We know these lap times, we can see it coming down with the likes of everyone in the field that are really eager, to go for the limits of like going for the quickest lap time. But still, though, anything can generally happen around Canada, as in like sort of weather as well, because the weather here, anything can be thrown at you. It's a bit like Spa, but just obviously in Canada itself. You want to go look for the history of like the longest race period within the rain period, you just got to look back into the range of 2011, when obviously the race in that period was obviously lasted more than the allocated time it was wanted, about 4 hours, due to a complete rain period and a monsoon downpour.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was the race everybody remembers as one of Jenson Button's finest races. Almost as many pit stops as you, Steph.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone's like making pit stops as well. But we're not going to go talking that description for this part of the track tonight for sure. As we probably maybe mentioned last week in the stream, I'm presuming. Maybe, did you say anything? But I haven't watched back yet, so you're lucky.
I am lucky. I mentioned it once at the start of the stream, but that was it. Obviously,
did you now?
I did. Maze in the chat is saying that it's going to be dry for both sessions as we're running on board with Poe then coming towards the hairpin.
Keep it quiet. Why do you keep it suspense?
And Spike says, how many stops does Mr. Steph recommend?
Wow. Well, there we go. I would say one stop is a good strategy around here, but obviously you can get away with 2 stop. Obviously, again, this is a case of timing it right. But as we're going on board with Poe now, as he hits the wall on my screen, it's a bit laggy, but heading up towards the line now to start his flight. We're going to cut on board with Poe. Heading down towards turn 1, then 100 meter board, then break down to turn 1. Crucial to get stable to turn 2, which it does there nicely. Keeping very close to the apex there, not too close up the exit infection zone, heading drop towards turn 3 and 4. Really very crucial on the entry and exit on this particular area. He's down the wall there nicely, going around the kick off bend of turn 5. Now into turn 6 and turn 7. He comes in very quickly, going to go down to 6, again release it on 7, watch out for the wall and exit, and also oversteer. Again, Poe gives it a run under control. First of the 3 DRS zones here on Canada, and up towards turn 8 and 9. Okay, a little bit unstable there, but again, keep it well under control there for turn 8 and 9. Now heading down towards famous turn 10. Then again, quickly heavy down, breaking down into first and second gear here, getting right on the exit here. You can have it down straight around 11. Probably said it going to the wrong here, but bear with me, if I don't know what I'm talking. Now second DRS zone, heading up towards the last chicane area, especially where the World Champions. Again, it's very crucial here, good entry, exit here, whilst Payload decides just to go into the pit lane there. Without completely full lap there, but as we've already gathered though, last chicane area there with Poe, but make sure you get your entry, exit, and also hit the apex spot on, otherwise you'll be in the wall, or your car will just be into the oversteer on exit or entry.
Well, 3 tyre choices available here, the Hypersofts, the Ultrasofts and the Supersofts, the 3 softest tyre compounds that we can bring to one of these tracks, exactly the same as Monaco. For the Hypersofts though, you're looking at around about maybe 12 to 14 laps I reckon on these Hypersofts. They can go a bit longer than you think, but if you're looking at the Ultrasofts you can definitely take them past lap 20 in a race like this. And if you're looking for that one-stop strategy, well, it looks like it's going to be Hypersofts to Super Softs, especially if you're in the top 10, as Alan Kay there goes top with a 111.7 on those Super Soft tyres, and that is the first valid lap of the day, as Graham then goes quicker, 110.6 on a set of Hyper Soft tyres as he now makes his way through turn number 2. What it's going to be interesting though is the short run down towards turn 1, and we're heading towards the first lap of the race. You can obviously try and go up the inside heading through turn 1, but that puts you on the outside for turn 2. And although it gives you a good exit, it's very narrow on the run up towards turns 3 and 4. The very first chicane, Graham hits the wall there and loses a chunk of front wing. That's Marquez's then, 108.0 on a set of Hypersoft tyres. But how about that? Ollie on Ultrasofts, 108.2. Watch out for that one as well.
So that is a good lap time. That's a good lap time there for a set of Ultrasofts of 1 minute 8.2. You also got Marquez's there with a 1 minute 8.0. But the problem is with the Hypersofts though, you have a good lap for the first lap only. Afterwards it will start dropping off in terms of getting the optimal lap time, unless you completely cool it down after you've done that first flyer and try and get it back. But it is very hard to get it back on a set of hypers, because the hypers are there as a performance booster for that one lap sprint, whilst ultras, you know, you can last much longer on there and about get like at least 3-4 good optimal lap times, especially in qualifying period.
Here's Poe then, around the chicane and up towards the start finish line. And obviously there's two different lines you take. There's the qualifying line and the race line heading towards the start finish line. You want to keep it as far over to the right hand side as you possibly can as you're heading towards the start finish line for qualifying. But when you get to the race, you sort of want to drift over to the left hand side as you head towards that start finish line to really open up turn 1 for you. So it's quite a bizarre one, but yeah, qualifying, stick to the right hand side to keep that steering wheel as straight as possible when you're heading towards the line for your fast lap. Poe then currently on a set of super soft tyres as he now makes his way through turns 8 and 9. Very fast flowing circuit, really easy to get into the groove of, but as we see now, Poe coming towards turn 10. This was the scene of the accident of Robert Kubica's massive crash in 2007. But a year later in 2008 he came back and won it. What a story that was.
Great comeback there for Kubica, especially from that horrific accident in 2007. Everyone was like up in shock, especially for the fans there around the grandstand period at that point, just to like literally see like shock of horror, like the car completely barrel rolling like that out of it, literally, you know, laws of physics. Yet still walks away, you know, from that incident, and obviously comes back, bouncing back a year later to win his maiden like victory.
Yeah, absolutely. His one and only victory in Formula 1 came at the 2008 Canadian Grand Prix, and at that time it put him at the top of the Drivers' Championship, believe it or not, and that was shortly before BMW Sauber decided to focus on the 2009 car, bizarrely, and we all know how that one turned out.
Went a bit backwards from them, obviously. They should have just waited for like at least the end of 2008 and see anything they can add to the 2009 car. But obviously Kubica himself though, he is a good competitive driver. Obviously, you know, back in this season after, you know, recovering from hand injury from this critical damage accident in a rally cross or a rally event, you know, racing for Williams, you know, it is great to see that he's still coming back, bouncing back. Obviously, you know, taking again time to adjust, but still, he's still keeping his head down and, you know, keeping himself motivated, thinking, you know, I'm still competitive.
Well, one person to watch out for is Squeezy, looking to try and make it 5 race wins in a row, 6 in total this season. It's pretty much been domination from Squeezy, and I wonder if anyone can stop him.
Wow. Obviously, like, you know, Squeezy on good sort of form here. Obviously, again, like, you know, still laying down his mark at that, you know, to be the world champion. Obviously, you know, 6 wins so far. That is impressive. But again, he's still got plenty of other tracks up ahead that, you know, that can make us an upset. Not that we're going to jinx it on you, Squeezy, but there are obviously, you know, some tracks that he might, you know, be his weak strength. So at the moment, he's just utilising what he can for now and trying to get the best out he can from Mercedes.
And Ferrari have got a job on their hands. Here's Lambo as he makes his way now towards turn 10. And Ferrari are some way behind in Poe and Lambo. And it looks like at the moment Mercedes have a huge advantage over the 2 Ferraris. Is that down to driver pairing, or is that just down to a bit of momentum?
Well, obviously, you know, Lambo and Poe, they have a brilliant partnership, like, you know, being like teammates together. Obviously, it could be just a case of, you know, potentially making a wrong move at the wrong time, you know, which, you know, I admit myself, as rather other drivers up there as well, probably admit that, you know, it can happen, like making the wrong move at the wrong time and you're not putting it right to your strategy and everything else ahead. Teammate wise, obviously they're both very strong, you know, and they're capable of winning races. Both of them are capable of winning. So obviously, they now just got to try and like, literally like recover as much as they can. Obviously, it's been, you know, not a great start for Ferrari, but I'm sure they'll bounce back and try and hopefully, you know, get some victories within the season.
One driver who isn't here tonight is Jay. We've also seen that Lyronix has had to drop down to reserve. So it looks like for Squeezy, it looks like full steam ahead for him. And that opens up then an opportunity for Spike who is currently P9 on a set of super soft tyres. Well, Squeezy's on 143 and Spike is on 49 points.
Yeah, no, you know, Spike is again like, obviously a good driver as well. You know, he is like, you know, thinking himself strategically ahead, you know, to get himself good, best possible points he can get, and also drive the car to its limits. But you know, like I said in Formula 1 though, Garen, anything can happen in Formula 1 and it generally does. You never know, you can have anything that thrown of us. Obviously just gotta wait to race and see what happens.
Here comes Spike then towards the line, and it's a 108.9, and that puts him, well actually it was an invalidated lap, that would have put him up in P8 there on a set of super soft tyres. As of now, it just puts him in P10 with that invalidated lap. Ollie making his way back to the pit lane, currently in P2 at the moment, as Zenki also out there. I wonder actually if Ollie is coming. Yes, he is coming back to the pit lane. I thought I might have said that a little bit too early, but here's Zenki here on a set of hyper soft tyres, and he makes his way back to the pit lane. Obviously not looking to set that lap time just yet.
He's going across the line. He's gone up to P2 here with a 1 minute 8.1 on a set of hypers there, so they're literally just like a tenth slower than my cases there.
Absolutely. Lighty is up to P8 by the way. Plaster, who makes his return back to TTL in this race in the Red Bull, and it's good to see him back. It's only as a reserve right now.
It's great to see Plaster back. You know, he is a good driver. Like, you know, again, he's like got the caliber of obviously like Spike, Alan Kay, and various other drivers in there as well. Of like, you know, strategically planning his strategies and turns into racing and everything. And it is great to see him back. It is really great to see him back. You know, he might not be the quickest, but he is very carefully minded of what strategy he's got in his head to put out a good, amazing result when needed.
Well, Marquez is here, who is also Odems, in case people don't know. But I'll be calling him Marquez in this one because that's the that's the tag he's using in this race. Meanwhile, the two Williams are having a good session right now. Currently first and sixth. Now, for a team that only has two reserve drivers at the moment, they're not doing too badly.
No, that is, you know, to be honest, a pretty good good result so far, and obviously the performance-wise between them two, it's been like, you know, working for a treat. Obviously, going on at this rate, Claire Williams might just snap them both up and say, like, there you go, here's your seat.
Absolutely. Just to go back on that, actually White is a full-time driver, and he was signed, I think it was about 2 or 3 races ago, but for Williams to start the season with 2 reserve drivers, it was a bit of an odd call from them.
It was a bit like, you know, like I said, like, you know, a very risky call. Obviously, Ocasio, obviously was tagged up with C3, and obviously C3 actually got released out, and the Adams is like still carrying on, and then next to this, White comes along, shows his worth, and next to this, Claire snaps him up as a seat.
And White there improves on his lap time, 108.6, but it doesn't move him any further up the table. He stays in 6th place right now. Marquez is then on a set of ultra soft tyres. Now, he's already set his fastest lap on a set of hyper softs. I don't know what this lap could be, unless it is quicker.
Well, like I say, he's definitely not hanging around here, and he's definitely pushing his lap for sure to try and see if he can go quicker on a set of ultra softs, which may benefit him if he obviously starts on that tyre. But the problem is, though, is how much is he going to push on himself at ultra softs? Again, as we can see, again, a bit of a lock up there in 10-10 there. Not ideally what he wanted, because you don't want to be making too many lock ups around there, which is easy to do in Canada, because it will just affect the tyre life later on in the race. But as you can see now, Marquez is now heading up towards the final chicane to the old famous Wall of Champions. There's a for here again, pushing right up to the wall there, and keeping to the far right, as you were saying. For the best optimal lap time. It's 1 minute 7.9. Wow.
That's a great lap.
That is a great lap on a set of ultra softs there from Marquez there for 1 minute 7.9, and he's thinking that's a great lap to retire on. So okay then, so Marquez then sets down the gauntlet for 1 minute 7.9 to beat.
Well, well, well. I wonder what sort of message that's going to send to Squeezy then. He's currently out there on a set of ultra soft tyres on an outlap as he now makes his way down the DRS straight, or at least one of them anyway. 3 activation points, 2 detection points. The first detection point is just before turn 6 on those high curbs there, with the straight between 7 and 8 being the first activation point. The second detection point is actually just on the exit of turn 9, so it's quite a distance away from the second activation point on the circuit.
Again, the second detection point is the crucial one, because it would just help you on the first back straight, but also help you on the main pit straight as well. But the only problem you've got is you got to keep maintaining a good gap and well close to the car ahead, without compromising yourself on exit on traction. That you actually entry and exit on turn 10 is your main critical point of getting an overtake done down the back straight and the pit straight. If you're not close enough, then obviously you literally will suffer down the main. You get a good straight line speed, don't get me wrong, but you won't be able to make a move down to the last chicane or even down to the first corner if he's not getting close enough.
Here comes Lighty towards the line, and he sets a 1:08.992, and he's now up to 8th place at the moment. Yellow flags in sector 1, that is just a car moving along to the side. How about Squeezy then? He's backed off of this lap and he's going to go again, so that's another lap on those ultra soft tyres. But we're down to 1:20 to go, and Squeezy then now making his way up towards turn 1 and turn 2 here. We should get this part right. The exit of turn 2 is also crucial, because you've got to watch the back end. You can see there Squeezy a little bit squirmish on the exit as we now head down the hill through turn 3 and 4. Oh, he's lost the back end!
He's lost it on the exit of turn 4. One of the few areas that you can lose your car on, especially if you don't get it right through turn 4, because that wall on the left, on the right, can trigger you off as an obscuration. And again, you can also oversteer into the wall on the inside as well, and that's Squeezy there, unfortunately being claimed. So unfortunately for Squeezy, at the moment P5 is where it stands for him. Not looking good momentum for up towards the race, not far away.
Absolutely, well that's going to open up this race then. Squeezy is starting no higher than 5th place. Here's Poe on a lap then, gives the wall on the outside of turn 7 a tap as we now head up towards turns 8 and 9. Very tricky chicane. You've also got that bit of steel on the left hand side, that bit of barrier there to try and catch you out. Doesn't catch Poe out though, as we head now towards turn 10, dropping all the way down to 2nd gear, dropping it into 1st to get the traction and the turn in, and then quickly going up the gears then as we now head down towards turn 13 and 14, next to the wall of champions. Poe's only going to get this right, and he might have a chance here. He's on those ultra soft tyres. At the moment he's starting on hyper softs. Can he get into the 107s? Gives the wall a tap on his way through. Give it a good measure as he now makes his way towards the line. Is it quicker? No! By 0.02 of a second he misses out.
Lambo's
and that means...
in the wall. Lambo's in the wall.
Let's have a look. Lambo. Yeah, Lambo into the wall of champions then. He crosses the line to finish off. And we've got Ollie on a lap. He's on a set of hyper soft tyres. Whereabouts Spike? He's on a set of ultra softs. Alan K makes his way now towards the line on a set of hyper softs. What can the Renault do then? P13 right now. Can he get any higher? He improves, but not enough to get himself up. But Spike then backing out of his lap, not completing it. And Ollie now on a set of hyper soft tyres, making his way now towards the chicane. And can he keep it clean through here? Yes, he can. Lots of grip from those hyper soft tyres now on the run towards the start finish line. Can he steal pole position away? I can't quite tell. No, it's third.
P3. P3 for Ollie.
So there we have then Marquez gets his first pole position of the season, and Squeezy then crashing out of his fast qualifying lap, starting in P5.
Yeah, indeed. It's like literally Squeezy's got a lot of work to do. So obviously Marquez is then on pole then with Poe in 2nd, starting alongside him with Ollie in P3, Senki P4. Squeezy there got a lot of work to do in the race in P5. It's obviously set his lap time on the super softs. White in P6 with Lambo in P7, Pursuit in P8, with Lighty in P9, Short in P10, Maze in 11th, Spike in 12th, Ali came P13, S-Grave in 14th, and Pastor in 15th, and Uzi there starting at the back. But yeah, like I said though, Kieran, Squeezy's got a lot of work to do now. Obviously, it's down from P5, probably say his lowest good position so far. and obviously with a track like Canada, you know, it is going to be tough, and he's going to be within the mix of the turn 1, turn 2 melee, where we can see the accident zone within the start of the lights out.
Absolutely, but you've got to remember as well that Squeezy's starting this race on super soft tyres, so to get into that top 10 as well is incredible. Also to watch is Lambo, who's also starting on a set of super soft tyres. They can get to around about halfway through the race, in fact longer than that. They can really push it now to maybe beyond 20 laps, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with these tyres and how long they can actually make them last. With the Hypersofts you can probably get into double digits, but maybe you're going to struggle to get them further. With the Ultrasofts it's a little bit further on, but actually when you think about it, these Hypersofts last a little bit longer than people think around here. They normally sort of estimate around 5 or 6 laps. Actually you can try and push them to lap 8, maybe even lap 9.
Indeed, obviously, Canada is not too bad in terms of tyre deck, really much. Really, it's obviously a case of traction braking zones, because obviously the rest of it is quite flowing fast corners. Also, obviously, you're not really using up too much of the corners and stuff because it's very flowing. But people on the obviously Hypersofts will be looking for the best optimal start they can possibly get, and try and upset the front of the field as much as possible. But those always starting on the ultras or the super softs, obviously particularly ones on the super softs, if they can make them last, I would say lap 22, lap 23, they can switch up to a hypers as the car will be lighter then, and obviously push on. If not, then obviously the best second solution would be the ultra softs, which will then guarantee them straight to the end of the race without any worries of tyre management.
Zenki starting in P4 on the ultra soft tyres. Poe starting on hypersoft tyres, so he's going to have some pace early on, but that might fade away before we hit double digits in this race. Squeezy there in P5, super soft tyres for him. White in P6, ultra soft tyres, with Lambo P7, super soft Nexus, and Lighty there, both on hyper soft tyres, with Sean rounding off the top 10 on ultra softs. And then everybody outside of the top 10 is going for the long stint. They're all starting on a fresh set of super soft tyres. That's Maze, Spike, Alan Kay, Graham, Plaster, and Yuzi, who I believe crashed out just after turn 2. I did see a stricken Toro Rosso coming towards the end of the beginning of qualifying, I should say. But as Zenki now makes his way around the chicane, I wonder, is the Wall of Champions going to claim one of these cars and claim one of the egos of these drivers, I wonder? We now head to the grid for the 7th round of TTL season number 13, which is sponsored by WeakWiFiSolutions.com, which is also sponsoring the Driver of the Day award, and it's also sponsored by A Logo, which are also sponsoring the Fastest Lap of the Race award. We're on board with Marquez's then as the tension builds to those 5 red lights counting up. Here we go then, not far away from the Canadian Grand Prix with 5 red lights. Round 7 is underway, and what are the starts like? Marquez, this looks a bit squirrely on the exit, but he's got the start nailed down. Fantastic start from the Williams driver. How about one of them behind them? You've got Zenki there trying to make his way up the inside.
Wide, it's a 2. Get away fairly there so far, Kieran, so it's all good at the moment.
All right, they're losing positions then. Lambo up the inside and cutting across the grass there as we now head through our turn 6 here. As now we've got White now under pressure from Lighty in the Force India, trying a little bit of contact there. Now Lighty has to go around the outside, avoiding the wall, but that's going to open him up to Sean behind him. And also watch out for Spike as well, looking to try and make this Mercedes power work then as we head all the way up towards turn 8 and 9. He's up the inside of the Haas and he makes that position stick then. How about Ollie up ahead? Battling away with Zenki then, and Ollie's round the outside as we head towards the hairpin. Zenki trying to go up the inside, and Ollie's got the traction on the exit then, should be able to keep this position, and he does then. Squeezy's still down in P5, but he will have this double toe from Ollie and Zenki as we head our way now down towards the chicane. Poe, meanwhile, trying to put Marquez's under a little bit of pressure as we head down towards the chicane. Ollie having to go defensive as we head down towards the final couple of corners.
Red Bull close to the wall there.
Very close to the wall. and everybody makes it through clean on this first lap then. So at the end of lap 1, Marquezas leads from Poe, then it's Ollie, Zenki, Squeezy, Pursuit, Lambo, White, Lighty, Spike, Sean, Mays, UC, Graham, Plaster and Alan Kay riding aboard with Ollie then, having to do a job here defending against Zenki. Squeezy also wanted to try and make his way up the field, but on those super soft tyres, he's just got to play the racing. Oh, Pursuit!
Nexus is out!
Pursuit is out, and he lost the back end violently then as we headed through turn 5, and that is the Force India out of the race in only his second race, and that is so unfortunate for the Force India driver. I wonder, is that going to trigger some sort of safety car? It doesn't, but Squeezy picks up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile then Poe looking at the hairpin, not quite, but he looks like he's going to try and set him up. He's got to make this hypersoft stint work, otherwise it's all in vain. Here we go then. No DRS yet then, of course. We're on lap 2 as we now make our way down towards turn 13 and 14. You can see there Poe slowly closing on Marquezas, but it's not going to be enough as we head now down towards the chicane. Poe just putting the Williams under a little bit of pressure. Marquezas runs a little bit onto the curb there, but you can do that and get away with it. Marquezas 1:11.5, fastest lap of the race, beaten by Zenki 1:11.4 as he's trying to chase down Ollie behind him.
Indeed. Obviously with Pursuit there, obviously like battling out it will be on the train of Ollie and Zenki. Obviously just lost it a little bit within the as a tricky corners of turn 3 and 4 when it starts to unset the car a little, and obviously just lost it on the exit, in which then could have oversteer, and that's unfortunate. That's his race over. But as I can say though, Kieran, looking at the start, Poe and Marquezas though are very close together. Obviously Ollie and Zenki as well. Obviously Ollie they're creating a bit of a train obviously to the cars behind him as well, so we've got literally multiple battles going on, and also keep an eye out for Spike, Sean, who are attacking behind Lighty, whilst there's a yellow flag in 72, which happy disappears there, so that's happy days on that one.
That's Alan Kay, lost a front wing. That's what caused it, so Alan Kay's lost a front wing somewhere out on track. But as we now head down towards the chicane, here comes Poe up the inside.
Go for it.
But doesn't quite make the move stick then, too far back. Zenki meanwhile trying to put Ollie under a bit of pressure, but Squeezy's right behind them as Lambo now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Zenki down towards turn 1, thinks about it but backs out of the move then. So we've got 2 battles in the top 5 here between first and second, and then the battle for that last spot on the podium. And well, Marquezas on ultra softs, Poe on hypersofts. All Marquezas has to do is stay ahead of the Ferrari. Meanwhile Ollie then having to defend from Zenki. Zenki locks up going into turn 7 here, or turn 6 I should say.
Oh, and that's squeezing in the wall as well, but I don't think he got any damage, so he's very lucky about that. But obviously again Zenki then will be literally under immense pressure there, trying to keep Squeezy behind him. Easy said and done with it, in the form as Squeezy is at the moment. But obviously Marquezas, like you said Kieran, has to just keep Poe behind him at bay, knowing that he's on a shorter tyre life than he is. And obviously it'll come into his favour later on, when obviously Poe starts to fall back a bit. But at the moment though, I'm surprised obviously Ollie there still maintaining his ground, obviously with the amount of pressure he's got coming up behind him. He's still keeping strong though in P3.
Here comes Spike now, past Lighty in that DRS, and the thing is he'll have that DRS as we head through towards turn 1. Here comes, and that's Marquezas having to defend from Poe. Poe trying to go round the outside at turn 2. Marquezas did well to just keep defending then as we head now down towards turn 3 and 4. Marquezas just getting himself a little bit of a buffer here, but Poe is reminding him that he's still there, despite then making his way up to P8 then. Just saw that battle before we cut away then. Meanwhile Ollie still trying to hold back the McLaren and the Mercedes here, and as you were saying Steph, he's doing a good job right now, but Zenki is looking to try and change that with the DRS as we head now towards turns 8 and 9. Tricky corner to get right here. If you take too much of that curve on the left hand side, you get yourself a warning. Too many warnings, you get yourself a penalty.
No, indeed, again, that area of literally turn 8 and turn 9, you know, you can take that corner brilliantly, but if you take it the wrong line, not just that you get yourself a warning here, you can also literally unset the car as well, especially on the curbs. Obviously, as we're watching now, Ollie coming under huge pressure by Zenki. Zenki can try to go down the outside. Can he get the move done by chicane? And yes, he does. Ollie has to concede the position, and Zenki is up into P3 then. But Ollie's not giving up though. He's trying to again look down the move for Zenki, although Zenki's got DRS to help him out straight. And Zenki then still maintains it, covers for now. But again, bit of a lock up now. from Zenki there. So obviously feeling a bit more pressure. Ollie's coming back, although Ollie now under immense pressure of Squeezy. Squeezy now trying to again get through Ollie quickly as much as he possibly can before Zenki tries to break away. So although Squeezy's looking for a move around turn 5, not ideally able to take a spot. Is he going to do it for 6? Yes, he does. And Squeezy then gets dispatched Ollie there and makes himself up into P4 there. So great move there from Squeezy.
Yeah, great move from Squeezy. I was just about to say, Zenki, on the exit of turn 14, just on that previous lap, didn't look like he got the greatest exit in the world. It looked like Ollie had him, but of course with that DRS then, only being 2 detection points out on the track, meant that he could still pull away even with that mistake. You've got Lambo there as well in P6. Don't forget about him. He's on a set of super soft tyres, and White is keeping him good company in that Williams then, as we now head down the back straight towards that chicane. Marquez is still leading this one, and I wonder when that Ferrari of Poe is going to pit in for a new set of hypersofts. We'll have a look at Ollie here, still trying to put some pressure under Squeezy, but Squeezy looks like he's pulling away ever so slightly as we head now onto the 7th lap of this race. Lighty is into the pit, and I wonder if that's a scheduled stop there to change off of those hypersoft tyres.
More likely scheduled there, Kieran, looking like he's taking a safe call there after just getting himself in. I think he looks like he is committing to a 2-stop here, so likely then committing to a 2-stop, you know, which may prove beneficial. You know, it might play to the hands of the winds if we get like a safety car, of course, coming up later on. He can put himself on the hard tyres to keep himself going to the end of the race for sure. So obviously Lighty then taking the early pit stop. Obviously it sets him back, but keep an eye on his pace. We see what he can progress up later on.
Yeah,
obviously there is another few.
He rejoins in P14 there. What about White on the back of this Ferrari? He's putting him under pressure. Lambo, of course, on the super soft tyres, able to keep that Williams ahead right now. But White will have the DRS as we head down towards the chicane. Lambo's not going to have the DRS to be able to defend. And will White try and move up the inside? He will. You know, it's going to be too wide. Oh, look at the contact! And Lambo has to go straight over. Nowhere for him to go. And Poe, by the way, is into the pits. And, well, White there trying to make it too wide through the chicane. And that's never going to work.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know if Lambo then saw him, or in case White trying to launch it up a bit too late there. Obviously, a bit of a 50-50 on both their very classes of racing incident myself. Obviously, not both of them not seeing each other, or one making a mistake in himself, but luckily both not got any damages. That's the main thing. They're both still pointing in the main direction. That's what we like to see.
And it might just say to White, you know, don't be so aggressive going down to the chicane, because you've got the DRS zone down towards turn 1 as well, regardless of whether you get the position or not. So here comes White then down towards the hairpin. You can see he's much further back this time around, but he will still have the DRS. As he was 8/10 of a second. Let's have a look at that battle then. I don't think Maze is going to make this too difficult then, as we head towards the hairpin. And Maze is on a set of super soft tyres, Poe on ultra softs. And I wonder if he's actually going to make those tyres last to the end of the race. I don't think he is, but maybe that's why I'm up in the commentary box. DRS wide open then for Poe as we head down the back straight towards the hairpin, the chicane. And he's got that move done. And like I said, I don't think Mace made that too difficult for Poe. He's now up to P9 in this race. Squeezy in 3rd place right now, 9/10 behind Zenki. And you know what? He could get into DRS range very soon indeed.
Indeed, with Squeezy obviously on the hardest compound going here tonight. You know, this type performance is just now coming into its optimal window, really. So basically, Squeezy then will just be applying pressure on Zenki to see how quickly he can make him burn up his tyres, see if he bolts a move or make a mistake on him. But at the moment, though, Zenki's not showing any signs of altering under mistake, apart from obviously the lock up there just going into turn 10. But despite that, though, he's still, you know, showing good pace on the 8 laps old ultra subs. But obviously Marquez is there. Gap he's got there, literally 3 seconds, Kieran. Marquez is in his own little world there, just up front. Okay, only 3 seconds ahead, but again, reasonable buffer in case anything happens.
Absolutely. Zenki picks up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, Squeezy with the DRS tries to launch it up in towards turn 1. Now trying to go around the outside. No, he'll try a cut back. Contact there between Zenki. Squeezy has to back out of it, but Squeezy definitely knows more than ever that he's right there on his tail.
Oh, indeed. Obviously, they squeezed it in, almost pulled it off. Move again. You know, Zinke defended fairly there. Obviously, a bit close to comfort though, but he won't stop squeezing. They're going for another move as he's got DRS now heading up towards turn 8 and 9. Can he make a move down in there? It's a bit risky. He's going for it, a bit half-hearted, but getting pulled out a little bit there. Make sure the front wing for sure for Squeezy. So obviously now, Squeezy's got to move down the main back straight. Well, Zenki there shows again lock up, which is another sniff of an opportunity there for Squeezy. But now Squeezy will now have not just one but two double doses there off the DRS, whilst with Zuko and Sean they're just exchanging positions there. So obviously put up to 8 and Sean up to 9. But Squeezy again, not obviously since that trying to attempt an overtake, just drops back a little bit. So maybe just a case of just trying to calm himself down and just buy the time for the move potentially.
Yeah, Ollie into the pits in that Red Bull and puts on a set of super soft tyres. Now he'll be wanting to get those to the end of the race, and making those last 25 laps is definitely doable.
Ooh, I think that's Senki there, just hit the wall on the exit of turn 4, but don't know if he's got any front wing damage, but looking at it so far, no wing end plate damage. That's probably like an easy let off warning side there for Senki though. Starting to feel a bit of the pressure with Squeezy going up on side by side with him for turn 8 and 9, not a side by side opportunity. Squeezy there had to take off to the run-off area, knowing that he's not going to make the move, but he's again still tucked up behind Zenki. He's going to go for a move down turn 10, he's going down the inside this time. Zenki sees him and looks up, and then Squeezy there up into P2, although Zenki will be coming back at him on the main straight. But the question is, who's got DRS? Was it Squeezy? Squeezy there got DRS then, so he's got himself a bit of assisted to get himself down the main straight, although Zenki's still slotting up in the slipstream, trying to pull out a move. Very close there, Zenki to the back of Squeezy's diffuser, but still Squeezy there maintains P2, Zenki now into P3, so this will be an interesting now if Squeezy can catch up to Marquez's within the next few laps. He's going to try to attempt to get his next win.
Absolutely. Well, Zenki there, I don't know if he's hit the wall and damaged that front wing there, but he did try to defend hard from Squeezy then, and obviously now we'll have the DRS. He was actually closing up without DRS. A tank slapper there coming out of turn 7 for McLaren there. But as we now head towards turns 8 and 9, you can see Zenki's car is clearly more set up for the straights then. And Squeezy then, even with DRS, just can't seem to get away. It's definitely more aero-based, that Mercedes right now.
Well, indeed, obviously Canada is, you know, it's a fairly balanced aero type track really, to be honest. It's like, okay, you got a fair bit of straights, but at the same time you've got fast flowing corners and also medium slow corners, which you're also going to need your aero as well to keep well controlled. So obviously some of the drivers are thinking, oh yeah, I can get through by speed. Yeah, okay, speed is one thing, but again, passability and performance around the corner is another. So, obviously, showing it at so far, you know, still a pretty good contest from everyone. And, you know, it's what we're here for entertainment, to see what happens, to see which strategy gets pulled off in terms of also car setups and tyre compounds and everything.
Marquez pits in from the lead, puts on a set of ultra-soft tyres and rejoins in 7th place. So it looks like that might be his one and only stop at the moment. I mean, he'll want to make those tyres last, what's that, 23 laps? That's a huge distance for those ultra softs.
Oh, indeed, obviously, the phases in. We'll be like literally try and put literally pressure now on Squeezy when he comes into the pits to see what gap he can pull out when Squeezy pits. But at the moment, Casey's got a little bit of traffic to negotiate. He's got to overtake Poe, Spike, White, Lambo and Zenki, although the cars ahead, excluding Poe, haven't really stopped. So it is literally now where the, you know, back end of the field are now playing into an element of I'm not going to give up my spot. You know, you got to go look pass around me, even though you're going to need a pit stop. Whilst White then picks up a 5-second stop, go for speeding in the pit lane. Naughty, naughty.
Yeah, very easy to do. You're coming from one of the fastest points on the track and trying to slow it all the way down to 60 miles per hour. It is not easy to do whatsoever, and White's just left that braking too late. Obviously locked the brakes up heading into the pit lane. And yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world, slowing down the car that quickly. and he pays the price for it. That's going to be 5 seconds added on to his next pit stop, not this one. You can't serve a drive through or a 5-second stop go penalty for speeding in the pit lane on that pit stop. It's not possible to do it. You have to do it at the next one. Meanwhile, a battle here developing between Plaster and Graham over 11th place right now. And they're both on super soft tyres, both done for 13 laps, and Graham is just staying within DRS zone, and Plaster then picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, assuming that is track limits, as they make their way through 6 and 7 now. It's all about getting that exit spot on. You can see there Graham using that ERS, trying to attack, and Plaster right here, mode 2 at the moment. He's very happy at just keeping his own pace right now. And Graham really ramping up the pressure now. Runs a little bit wide on the exit of turn 9 there, as he now head all the way up towards turn 10. And Graham will have that DRS. Plaster goes to the inside, runs a little bit wide, maybe to try and get a little bit of a better exit. And will Graham have a chance of going down the inside here, as we see Ollie now go around the outside, which becomes the inside against Sean, and Ollie gets that move done through turns 1 and 2. How about Graham then? He is closing, but through the chicane then he's not willing to make that move stick. Battle for 4th place developing as well. Spike, who hasn't stopped yet on those super soft tyres, now coming under pressure from Poe and Marquezes as you now head up towards turns 8 and 9 now. And Poe's got to be a little bit careful here. He wants to attack the Mercedes, but he also got to defend from the Williams, and this might be the key then. Spike out of shape on the exit there, which caused Poe to be out of shape as well, as they now try and go round the hairpin here, as Marquez is a little bit of a tap. But they keep in the same direction. They keep going forward at the moment, and Marquez and the Ferrari running side by side now. Spike doesn't know where he should put the car. The Ferrari here is going to try and go up the inside.
Don't go free wide. Don't go free wide.
Well, Marquez is backed out of that one. But look at that. Poe made that move stick. And I think it was wise of Marquez there to back out of that one. You do not want to go through there 3 wide. It's tough enough going
Marquez
2 wide.
Turn 1 this time with Spike. He's gone a bit deep. But Spike's still coming around for turn 2. Marquez then gets the move done. Looks like Spike then just starting to fall away on his tyres. Again, losing the back end on exit of turn 2 there. So obviously Marquez is there. Very lucky to time to move in turn 1. That was looking a little bit risky there, but again pulled it off.
Yeah, it looked a little desperate, but Marquez has got the move done. And as we head
Zenki, turn 2. Zenki's lost it around turn 2, but gets himself going in the right direction there. So I don't know what happened with Zenki. Maybe a little bit of tap somewhere, or lost control of the car. But Zenki then dropping a little bit more time. I think he just came out the pit lane as well. So that is not going to help him whatsoever if he intends to get himself up in the top 3.
Marquez is now just trying to switch back on the exit of turn 10 here. He will have the DRS as we head now down towards the chicane. And Poe here looks like he's going to have to do a little bit of defending. He's going to find this tough then. Marquez is now moves to the left-hand side. You can see that straight line speed difference with the DRS. And Poe there still trying to look up the inside. No, he backs out of it. And Marquez then takes that position away from Poe. Moves up to P3. Good little battle between the 3 of them there. And Marquez takes the final podium spot for now, with Lambo and Squeezy up ahead. And, well, Marquez is only around about 10 seconds away from the lead of this race.
Indeed, obviously, yes. Marquez is definitely in charge, but the question is, though, Kieran, how quickly the rate is he burning up his ultra softs? That's the question. Obviously, he's done at least a couple of laps of, like, literally, as we can see, Marquez is going on the grass, burning up his tyres a little bit quickly, just trying to get past the cars ahead. So at the moment he's showing great pace, but you know, it's halfway through the race at the moment. Is his tyre going to fall off at the end? And as we can see, you know, the clouds are just starting to form a bit, and obviously the track it's a little bit darker in places, but you never know, might have a surprising element in the way of weather, so keep an eye on what's going on in the skies.
Zenki making a move then in towards turns 8 and 9 and gets the move done. And you can see there, as you were saying, Steph, it seems to be getting a little bit darker out on track. A little bit of cloud coverage. No rain expected in this race, of course, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Graham here under pressure from Yuzi, who was recently stopped. Graham, meanwhile, hasn't stopped yet. And Yuzi, is he going to try and move up the inside into turn 10? No, waits a bit. And you can see there he's got so much more grip coming through turn 10. Then he'll also have the DRS heading down the back straight towards the chicane. And what can Yuzi do then?
Oh, Kieran, I think we've got rain. I
Have we
think I
got
just
rain?
saw like saw spots of rain. I could be wrong. It could be just a case where the game glitched a little bit, but I think I did saw spots of rain.
Well, keep a close eye. The best chance, the best place you can tell is, of course, on that halo. When you see the drops of rain starting to fall and go away on the halo. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. There was no rain forecasted, of course. So we'll have to keep a very, very close eye on that then. Squeezy making his way through the final chicane and on towards the start-finish straight to start lap 19. Meanwhile then, Mays here under pressure from Sean, and Sean goes around the outside. Sean's already stopped and Mays just thought, there's no point in that battle at the moment. I'm in my own race. Poe into the pits then for his second stop as Graham then looks like he's in trouble. And no, he's not, but he taps the wall there on the left-hand side, the guardrail there. And could have sustained a little bit of damage there. Meanwhile, Poe into the pits now goes onto a set of super soft tyres to get him to the end of the race. And part of me is thinking, if Poe had to stop in and change those tyres, what about Marquezes? Will he have to? And Zenki's out.
Oh, Zenki's gone.
And Zenki,
Where's
is
Zenki?
that looks like the Wall of Champions to me. Right on ball with Plaster as we make our way towards the final chicane then. And is that the Wall of Champions?
He lost it around there. He looks like he's lost it around that area.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zenki then becomes the second retirement from this Grand Prix. And such a shame for Zenki there. But he does become the second retirement of today's race. Marquezes has closed up on Lambo. A treat then. A couple of laps ago, that was 4 seconds, that gap. Now it's down to 6/10. As you can see, Marquezes with the DRS looking to just try and attack as much as possible as you now head down towards the chicane. And Marquezes picks up a 3-second time penalty, as does Lambo. We'll have to check those penalties later on in the race and see how much it affects. Here comes Marquezes then down the left-hand side, up the inside in towards turn 1. And now we'll have the inside line for turn 2. Good move from Marquezes. Then covered his ground in turn 2. Made sure Lambo couldn't have a cutback. And he's got that move done. And Lighty then trying to close up on Yuzi as we head towards turn 10.
Big give it a overtake there from Marquezes out to get himself up into P2. Obviously, looks like the track temperature is just like dropping down a little bit, obviously due to cloud coverage, so it will benefit those that were on the softer compounds, the likes of those that are on the super softs there. Obviously, realising that the track's just a little bit getting cooler, working out of this element of the window. We wonder as the yellow flags is sector 2. Where is it this time? But at the moment, got Easy and Lighty battling out for the last points position here. Lighty very close there to getting back up Easy there, but again keeping fair distance there. So obviously Lighty then just has to wait and settle for the next few corners, while Easy's got the high ground as he's in front. But Lighty then again, tapping the wall. Don't want to be making too many of them for sure. Otherwise, you can say goodbye front wing or potentially retire.
Absolutely. Squeezy's in, by the way, for his pit stop, as is Lambo, to put on a set of ultra soft tyres. So Marquezes will take the race lead. And Spike then, who still hasn't stopped, still on those super soft tyres, and of course couldn't stop this lap because Squeezy, his teammate, was in. So Spike's got to do another lap on those super soft tyres. And look at this then, Squeezy rejoining side by side with Ollie then, as they head now down towards turns 3 and 4. He's going to be on the outside, turns in and gets the move done. He had to make that move, and Squeezy then retakes P3 away from Ollie. Ollie then maybe wanted to try and get a move back, but he can't quite do it then. And I wonder here if Spike is going to...
Spike's nearly losing it. I think he's going to let him go for sure.
Yeah, he sees him on the right-hand side, and yet doesn't make that move. Too difficult for Squeezy. He's now up to second place, and Spike now might have a job to do at keeping Ollie behind him as we now head up towards turn 10.
Indeed, obviously Spike then looks like he's just starting to struggle on his tyres, and it's proving his worth as Ollie goes out the inside of turn 10. Going to get a stick on the exit. We're pretty Griffin Crackton again making a bit of contact there, but again, lucky not to put each other into a spin. And obviously Spike and Ollie has a DRS now. The question is Spike going to pull into the pits? He's keeping 4 letters at the moment, but
and he is.
Yes, Spike does come into the pits. Gets that down nicely now. Obviously, the flex is sector 3 that gets displayed in nicely. So we'll probably see Spike literally go on a set of ultras or potential hybrids. Looks, yeah, it's ultras for Spike then. So Spike then will hopefully should be able to rejoin potentially in front of Sean. Yes, he does. So Spike will be out in P7.
Here comes Sean then, down towards turn 1, and of course it's a bit of an odd pit lane because you can be behind someone as they head towards turn 1, then be in front of them at turn 2.
Yeah, with battle for people viewing up here between White, Lambo and Poe here. Two Ferraris versus the Williams. Obviously, White on the oldest stint of the tyres at the moment, while Lambo just recently made his pit stop, attacking on the back of that Williams. And obviously he's got his teammate with Poe in company as well. Obviously heading down towards turn 10. Lambo going to attempt to make a move. No, he doesn't, not at the moment, but he will have the arrest for overtaking White. So obviously heading down towards the first of the two back straights here. And obviously the arrest open from both Ferraris. Is Lambo going to make a move down last chicane? He's going for it. Can he get the move covered? Yes, he does. So Lambo there up into P4, then White down into P5. Now this time it's the next Ferrari off Poe. Is he going to go from about down turn 1, side by side again? And Poe then gets moved down just before the braking zone. But although White is still coming back at him for turn 2, can you get the good switch back on the exit here? Not at the moment. So I've seen White then just has to settle then for P6 and Poe then up in P5. So great dispatchment there from the Ferrari boys, getting it done in tandem.
Yeah, absolutely. They knew they had to make that move quickly then, as it looks like the sun's poking back through the clouds then, so that could be an increase of tyre temperatures and track temperatures shortly. Marquez then still in the lead of this one, as Squeezy is 8.5 seconds behind. Now this is going to be an interesting battle between the two of them. Obviously Marquez is on 8 lap older ultra soft tyres, and that's going to be felt, the effects of them are going to be felt towards the end of this race. All Squeezy has to do is keep those tyres in good nick. He's got a good chance of a race win here. Meanwhile, the two Ferraris then, who are more than 130 points off Mercedes at the moment, making their way down towards the chicane. At the moment, Squeezy's ahead of them and Spike is behind them. That's the only good thing they can have today. And are they going to work as a team here, or are they going to battle away here? What will Ferrari let them do?
Well, I don't know, but obviously Poe sending down the marker to Lambo, his teammate, on the fastest car at the moment. And obviously Poe on a different tyre strategy to Lambo. Obviously Lambo there on the
oh, Poe!
Poe! Oh, Poe! Heart and mouth moment right there, son. Heart and moment right there. So Poe's just pushing his car a little too much. Obviously you don't want to be making a mistake like Squeezy did around turn 4 there. But as you can see, Poe is definitely pushing and he's chasing down Lambo. Lambo then also hitting the wall there, but then gets away without no damage. Question is though, the Ferrari boys are going to be literally letting each other go, not hold each other up, or battle out on track. But they're looking their way, they keep battling out on track. Something's going to happen bad for one of them if they're going to keep going on like this.
Well, let's see what Poe does then. He's in a slipstream of Lambo as we now head down towards the chicane. And will Poe go for a move? No, he stays behind. Probably the wise choice there, but it does compromise his exit here, or entry into the corner, sorry. But now they head towards turns 1 and 2, and you can see there how much time that costed Poe. Just that little bit of a compromised entry, and that's all that takes for Poe not to be able to get onto the back of his teammate then. Meanwhile, Yuzi here, Yuzi and Plaster. And Yuzi now trying to go around the outside, and he gets it. And I don't think Plaster made it too difficult for the Toro Rosso driver. Back on board with the Ferraris then with 11 laps to go. And Lambo here losing that back end as Poe taps the wall on the left-hand side. And that won't be any good to his front wing at all as we head now through turns 8 and 9. Poe gets a 3-second time, but he hits the wall! Whoa!
Where's the wall?
And I wonder if he's got front wing damage from that. That was a hefty hit from the Ferrari then. And as we head down towards turn 10.
On my screen, he's lucky not to have any damage on my screen, so... But, yeah, then again, Poe, second time going, pushing this car to its bare limits. How long can he carry on at this rate? No, he's already made 2 mistakes already, and he's tucked in behind his teammate. Surely, the Ferrari boys have got to think of something.
Got a good run here. He's got a good run here. And it's literally tailgating here. Poe now trying to go down the inside in towards turn 1. Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Finally, he makes the move stick then. And his teammate Lambo there, now down to 5th place. I wonder here if Lambo's going to have another go back at him. If he was looking in his rear view mirrors, he knows Poe's pushing here. And he knows Poe at the moment is prone to a mistake. Maybe the idea is to put a little bit of pressure on him and see what happens.
Well, maybe it's a case of... literally like cycling the teammate out, trying to find out his weakness and trying to like put him under immense pressure. Obviously Lambo though is on 5 lap hold by Ultra Subs. Obviously, he's starting to like still working his elements of performance, but he's starting just to drop away a little bit, but not by much. But he's still keeping relatively close to Polo, although they are coming up to literally Ollie, who is not far up the road, literally just under 2 seconds.
Marquezes is in, by the way. So that looks like another set of ultra soft tyres, and it's in fact it's hyper soft tyres going on to the Williams then. So he's really going to go for it in these last couple of laps, but he's got a lot of overtaking to do as both the Ferraris go through now. Marquezes now coming out of the pit lane exit, and you can see him just in the distance there.
He's just out ahead of his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. But now this is where the laps have to come in. It's quali laps to the end for Marquezes at the moment. Poe getting a little bit out of shape then on the exit of turn 4 there, but no matter, he's still catching Ollie ahead of him. And now this will become a battle for second place. Ollie here on 16 lap old super soft tyres, and Poe's tyres are exactly half their age. And Lambo here still behind in P4, looking to try and take advantage. Gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles, and this is what Squeezy wants. He wants these three to battle, and he wants Marquezes to get caught up in this battle and not being able to make his way through the field. And I wonder if a 2-stop from Marquezes was the best strategy, because now he's got these three to battle. Of course, you can't see that. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and it's always 2020. But Poe now making his way now down towards turn 13 and 14, right on the tail of Ollie here, and he'll have the DRS. Ollie getting a little bit out of shape on the exit of turn 14, and Poe now with the DRS. You can see now the speed difference taken into effect as we head now down towards turn 1. Can the Ferrari get the inside line? Well, Ollie's done amazingly well to defend there, and it looked like Ollie there, even without DRS, was able to just stay ahead of Poe then. And as we head towards turns 3 and 4, Ollie's still holding on as Poe hits the wall. That's front wing gone. That's a whole chunk of front wing on the right hand side there off his car, and he's going to be struggling now. Surely he can't pit. He's got to stay out, and I wonder if he's going to put up a battle with his teammate Lambo. Is he just going to try and pull to the side here and let him through? No, he's going to battle him. No, he's not willing to get this.
His teammate.
And look at this, Marquezes then right behind. Ferraris are side by side then. There's a little bit of contact there, but Lambo makes his way through. Poe now trying to go up the inside. Contact between the Ferraris. The team principal's got to get over the radio here and calm them down, but Lambo gets the move.
Marquezes in the background watching this all unfolding at the moment. This is unbelievable. Obviously, like you said, Kieran, the team principal on the Ferrari pit wall will be literally throwing his headphones all over the place. And obviously, Poe now in P4, obviously now trying to literally carry on with the damaged wing, knowing he's now very vulnerable to Marquezes behind him on a fresh set of boots. But Ferrari boys, like I said, I could have seen it happening. It was only going to be a matter of time. Obviously, Marquezes now on the back of that stricken Ferrari off Poe. So he can make a move into turn 3, not at the moment, although it's still helping Marquezes at the moment. Poe hit the wall again, it hits Marquezes! He hits Marquezes now. Did Marquezes get any wing damage?
I don't think he did. I think he got away with it there.
Very lucky there. Very lucky there for Marquezes there to not get literally collected up by the Ferrari. It's going to end this race. But still though, he does get through Polo. He's up into P4. The next one up ahead is Lambo, who's battling very hard here with Ollie heading down towards turn 10. Ollie keeping to the far left, far right side. Lambo trying to go for the switch back to try and see him cut back on the exit. It looks like he's got a better purchase here. But Ollie again getting the traction out of nowhere on old set of Supersoft, still pulling away from Lambo on traction of turn 10, which will help him to retreat down the main back straight. But Lambo still looking up a move, heading down towards the cane. Going to get moved on. Ollie again defending very well here for all his life. Oh! And it gets Lambo! He gets Lambo! So the both Ferraris are both in the walls, and they both get wing damage here. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Obviously Ollie dead. Losing out to Marquezes there, whilst Marquezes takes the places up into P2 and down to P3. But the Ferrari boys are in the walls.
Yeah, it looked like Ollie there. It was a good idea from Lambo. It was the right idea as well to just put Ollie under a bit of pressure, then back out at the last possible moment. Unfortunately then, that meant Ollie overcommitted, tapped the wall of champions, and just came back into the path of Lambo. Nothing Lambo could have done at all. And that is sadly just a racing incident where Ollie's just trying to overcommit to try and defend, and he taps that wall, comes back across Lambo. And meanwhile, Marquez's, it's all of his birthdays all at once as he gets those two positions relatively easily, and now up to P2 as Lambo's retired from the race then. And I wonder if that's an on-track retirement or if he's lost control of the car. It looks like to me that's on track. And yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. But I don't think that's anything doing at the moment. But you can see there, that is Plaster then. And Ollie, his teammate, right behind. You can see then Plaster getting well out of the way then. And the yellow flags are Plaster, just trying to let everybody through at the moment. Lap 31, we have 5 laps to go. Squeezy still leads this race then, on course to make it 5 in a row. Not many drivers can say that. Marquez will be doing his utmost best to try and stop that, but the gap is 10.4 seconds. It's a huge ask for Marquez.
It is. Obviously, Marquez will need qualifying laps in order to get through that. At the moment, with the amount of laps left, so you'll be wanting to try and get at least 2.5 seconds per lap. That is a tall order on a set of Microsofts, especially around a track like this. You know, tyre deck's not too bad, but at the same time, it's a question of how much you can give in the performance. At the moment, the gap is about 10.2. So again, you're asking a little bit much, but he is going to put all he can to try and get down to Squeezy as much as possible, while Squeezy's out there just literally taking it as a Sunday drive in effect.
Absolutely. Well, 4 laps to go then. Squeezy still leads this race, and that is a Force India of Lighty rejoining behind him. He is a lap down now, and Poe's been disqualified for receiving multiple penalties. That's multiple track extensions or corner cutting or exceeding track limits, whatever you want to call it. But Poe, the second Ferrari, disqualified from the race. That promotes Ollie up to P3 and White there up to P4. The Williams are running 1 and 4 right now.
Wow, unbelievable scenes here. The Ferrari boys are literally doing well to get on course to get points, and obviously getting tangled up in their own affairs and their own battles here, which is just so without, you know, bars beforehand. Well, obviously they're both getting carried on committed to try and, you know, go for overtakes and stuff and putting themselves at risk. Obviously Lambert trying to go for attack on Ollie, and obviously Ollie unfortunately made a mistake on the World Champions, which sends Lambert into the wall. And obviously Poe there just being a bit too really greedy on terms of using the off parts of the track, and unfortunately gets awarded with disqualification. So again, that they still continue for Ferrari. How long can he keep up with this is unbelievable.
And I'll tell you what, that's promoted Plaster back into the points with that disqualification. It's not a bad way to make a comeback to TTL. And at the moment, 15 seconds ahead of him, 15 seconds behind him. He's on track on his own out there, but he's currently in the points. Squeezy meanwhile, 3 laps to go, making his way towards turn 6 and 7. Marquez is doing everything he possibly can, but it's 2.5 seconds made in those 2 laps. It's not enough from the Williams.
No, they literally hoping for a miracle in case like Squeezy somehow like switches off and just makes one mistake to get himself back in it. But that's what Marquez is trying to praying. They still love to see him get a win, but again, I think it's probably made the right call, the strategy call if he wants to go for a 2-stop, but I think maybe just in case timed it a little bit too late, just at the wrong time.
Yeah, it looked like today track position was much more important, but of course we still have 2 laps to go, and you see there, Squeezy's under a bit of pressure now from Lighty. Now I wonder if he's just let Lighty go. He's on fresh set of ultra soft tyres. He'll be attacking to the end of this race. I wonder if I'm Squeezy, I just pull to one side, let the Force India go.
Well, again, obviously he's like letting him through his 1 point, but at the same time, if he's going to catch him back up again, it can be a bit of a hindrance. But you know, Lighty is entitled to literally go and tap the Mercedes of Squeezy if he wants to. Obviously, just not while impeding him in terms of where he is on track. So obviously, like he's probably just using the slipstream of Squeezy, you know, maybe just to try and go for a fastest lap or something, or just a case of just try and get close to the car ahead. Obviously, the next car ahead is obviously Maze up the road. But obviously, like he would just be like trying everything he can just to try to stick behind Squeezy or try and get close to Squeezy to Maze as much as he possibly can.
Right, here comes Squeeze then through the chicane,
Out
and
for
he crosses the
P3,
line.
out for P3, Kieran. White and Ollie
Here comes White
on
then
the back
on the
straight.
right hand side. As will he have the DRS? No, he won't. As they now head all the way down to the chicane, and neither of them have the DRS. They cross the detection point at exactly the same time, and that's what happens. That means neither of them get the DRS, and that could have been a big hindrance for White then. He's got one more chance though, as Squeezy now makes his way through turns 6 and 7, and on course to make it 5 in a row. And still trying to look onto that battle for P3. Well, Squeezy here is going to extend his championship lead as it stands and take race win number 6 out of 7. It has been utter dominance from the Mercedes driver, and ever since making that move up from McLaren to Mercedes, he's been in the form of his career. As Mays now moves out of the way, and actually he might lose a position here to Lighty if he's not careful, as they now make their way down the back straight and towards the chicane for the final time. Squeezy side by side with the Renault then. This isn't how he pictured ending this race. Lighty trying to go up the inside, but never mind. Squeezy then makes his way towards the line to take race win number 6 out of 7. 5 in a row for Squeezy. At the moment, can Marquezes get anything out of it in terms of penalties as he heads towards the line now? Marquezes comes across the line. He can't do anything. Here comes the battle for third place then. Ollie trying to defend though, but White now goes around the outside in towards the chicane then. He's got a bad exit though. Ollie could have another go at him as we head towards the start finish line. Can White hold on to P3? Well, he can on track, but not on penalties. And White drops back to 4th place. Then Spike in 5th, then finishing across the line. And Sean then is the last driver to finish on the lead lap. He had a podium in Monaco last time around, 6th place today. And it's really good drives, really good performances from Sean lately. And the Haas crew will be happy with that as he crosses the line then to take 6th place in this race. But race win number 6 out of 7. 5 in a row. Your race winner for the Canadian Grand Prix is Squeezy. Well then, what a race we had. And Squeezy then taking race win number 6, starting P5 in that race, of course, on the super soft tyres. And he made that one stop work to perfection. Number 6 in the trophy cabinet this season.
Indeed, obviously great strategy call there from Squeezy there. Obviously doing the one stop. Obviously, going for his quality lap and for his fast one, and obviously he made a mistake and got to the wall. But despite that, brought himself back up and got himself on the top spot there. Congratulations there to Squeezy.
Absolutely. Well then, let's have a look at the official, unofficial results then. Squeezy takes the race win with Marquezes finishing in 2nd place, Ollie in 3rd with White finishing in 4th on penalties, Spike in 5th there with Sean in 6th, Mays finishing in 7th. In fact, one of the only drivers to finish the race without any penalties. Lighty then in 8th, Yuzi in 9th, and Plaster on his return taking a point for Red Bull and himself, with Graham finishing outside of the points, Alan Kay finishing 3 laps down. Non-finishers Lambo, Zenki, Pursuit and Poe was disqualified from the race. Well, what that means is that Squeezy extends his lead in the championship well and truly. And well, what a day for Williams it has been. They had a fantastic day. No points scored for Ferrari at all, and no points scored for McLaren means that Mercedes take a much firmer hold of that constructors battle.
Oh, indeed, Kieran. Mercedes again. Both are on form, obviously, and with the performance in the terms of Squeezy, they taking the win, and obviously Spike there collecting good points as well to boost Mercedes' performance up. But Williams boys have done amazingly well. Obviously, Marquez is trying to close down the gap as much as he possibly can with Poe. Maybe made a little bit of mistake on his strategy call, maybe, but still getting the points in there for Williams and also for White as well. Batting at the end there with Ollie. Unbelievable, and obviously everything around across the track today has just been absolutely, amazing and entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fantastic race then. Obviously, we will have Commentators Corner. That is going to be coming up in a couple of minutes' time, and we'll see who is able to make it to the box then. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to Commentators Corner, seeing who's going to join us for it. It looks like we're going to be pretty popular tonight.
Oh, indeed. I'm sure like the drivers will be out there expressing the words, the emotions and how they feel that their race went. Literally everything that they can tell us what happened, what we didn't see or caught on stream, but still, it is great to hear the drivers' response, especially for this epic maiden race we had tonight here, Garen.
Absolutely, and hopefully you will join us for Commentators Corner. As always, it's in a separate stream. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel down below. Hit the notification bell as well, so you're notified every time the channel goes live. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with Commentators Corner. Stay tuned to the channel.